These are the ingredients that you need for the butter cheddar flaky biscuits. Hey, what's going on everybody? I'm Chef Ajay and let's get cooking. So you're gonna need 3 cups of flour, 4 teaspoons of baking powder. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your baking powder out and you're gonna swipe it with your finger. What this does, it helps you to have even measurements. And so I wanted to dedicate my recipes to beginner cooks because I know a lot of times when beginner cooks try to follow recipes, it's kind of complicated the way that the cooks, they describe measurements and everything. So I want it to be as easy as possible for people all over the world. And not only just for beginner cooks, but for cooks all over. Then you're gonna do a half a teaspoon of baking soda. One and a half teaspoons of salt. And I just want to thank everyone for following me, for sharing my videos, for liking. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Two tablespoons of sugar. And the reason why I'm going this slow is because I want you guys to really follow the recipe. I want to be at the same speed that you guys do at home as you follow. I don't want to speed it up. I don't want to, act all crazy on the video like these other chefs. They just go too fast, So I want you guys to actually follow it and be correct with your recipes. Now you just want to stir with a whisk until everything is well combined. And then you're gonna get your frozen butter. Make sure that your butter is at least frozen for at least 30 minutes in the freezer or an hour. And then you wanna dip it in your flour. And what this do, it helps your butter not to stick to your grater and your finger. And then also, you want your butter to be super, super cold because this is what helps your biscuits to be flaky. And then you wanna grate all the way till you have a tablespoon left of each butter because you're going to use that to butter your biscuits later before you put it in the oven, like so. Then you're going to take your butter, your grated butter, and put it in your flour. And you're going to take your clean hands and you're going to toss the butter in the flour. You do not want to mush it. You do not want to squeeze it because you want to keep the butter cold as possible. All you want to do is just coat your butter with the flour. Like so. If you have pieces stuck together, you can take it apart, but make sure you do not overwork your butter because you do not want to melt it. You want it to keep as cold as possible. Then you're gonna take your frozen cheddar. I froze mine overnight. It's easy to grate with your grater. And I did a half a cup, but you can do a full cup. And then you're gonna do the same thing that you did with the butter. You're gonna take your grated cheese and toss it in your flour. You're gonna toss it with your hand just until it's well combined with the flour. Do not squish, do not mush. Just toss. Then you're gonna take 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk. If you do not have buttermilk, you can use a cup and 1/4 of whole milk and add a tablespoon of vinegar or a tablespoon of lemon juice. Stir it up, leave it up to the side for 7 to 10 minutes, room temperature. And there we go, you have buttermilk. You make sure that you stir everything until it's combined. It don't have to be all the way together, just until all the buttermilk is combined. Then you want to flour your clean surface with flour. This will help the dough not to stick. And then you put a line on the corner. This helps you count how many times you fold your dough, because you want to fold your dough 5 times. And so I use that to count the times I fold. So you want to put this in a rectangular, and then you want to roll it out into a square. And it's gonna look all crazy for the first beginning, like the first 2 or 3. Then it's gonna start coming together. Do not add no more milk or whatever. If you want to add a little bit of flour at the top, you can, but this is how it's gonna look. You're gonna fold it into like an envelope almost. One away from you, one towards you. Like so. Then you're gonna turn it. And that's your one. So do that 5 times. And I was looking for my wooden rolling pin. I couldn't find it, and I was using this one. I do not like it. I don't care how much flour I put on it. It still kind of stick to the rolling pin, but I made it work. And if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a wine bottle. Just make sure you clean it and sterilize it before. And so this is after my 5th one. So I'm now rolling it out to a square. And you see how it's actually a little bit tougher now, because that's because the gluten is activated into the bread. But that's a good thing, because you want some gluten to have a little bite to it. So make sure that you roll it out to a square. And you're gonna get a sheet pan and parchment paper, and you're gonna place it in there, and then you're gonna be ready to place your dough in the refrigerator. Okay, and that's how it's gonna look. You see how pretty and square it is? So you're gonna place a saran wrap on the top of it and place it in the refrigerator for 30 to an hour. This is gonna help the butter to get cold again. And that's gonna help the biscuits to be flaky. So make sure that you put this dough in the refrigerator for at least 30 to an hour. Now it's time to trim the sides, because you want even biscuits. So you want to powder your knife so that your knife will not stick to the dough. You want to cut the edges at least 1 inch away on each side of the square, like so. Now you're gonna cut them and make even squares. So these biscuits make up to 12 biscuits, but you can make 9 if you want your biscuits to be a little bit bigger. But I wanted mine to be medium size, so I cut them in 12 squares. But you can do whatever that makes you happy or whatever that you desire. And I just want to show you how these biscuits look, this dough. So you can see the layers, and you can see the layers of the cheese in each line. Beautiful. And then you want to place it on your parchment paper. You want to set your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And you want to just butter all of your biscuit. That's the leftover butter that I had you guys save from when you was grating your butter. So place your biscuits in the oven for 25 minutes, and here you have it, your butter flaky cheddar biscuits. And that's the jam with the biscuits. And then I have a recipe with the jam. It's on my page. Just check it out. And then I made butter biscuits. I made the homemade sausages. I also have that on my page as well, the recipe. And I did grits and eggs. I just want to thank everybody for following me, for sharing, for liking. And I hope you guys really enjoy this recipe. It's a go-to in my home, and I hope it becomes a go-to in yours. You guys have a blessed day. Till again, deuces.